Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
There he is again. He is amazing. I mean that. I don't say that for just anyone. JT Jester is back, author, speaker, adventurer there in Michigan. It's quite an adventure just to live outside of Detroit, isn't it, JT? How are you?
It is. It is. How are you guys? It's great to be back, and thank you so much for having me again on your show.
Yeah, we're
absolutely
doing well.
How about that? Now, in the background there is a beautiful painting, and we said something before we went live. Is that something that you've done, or did you purchase that, or what?
You know, I just threw a whole bunch of paint at the wall, and it turned out good.
It did. It turned out well.
But yes, no, it's just a fun little painting. Some of my favorite colors. So
yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. I've thrown paint on the wall myself, but my wife doesn't care for that when I do it. So she actually hires a professional. So
I'm not allowed to touch a paintbrush, so you know how that goes.
Hey, here we go. I got an idea. JT not only does adventure, he's an author, he's a speaker, he's amazing, right? He does painting for those of you that need painting at your home. So we'll give you his link. You can
check out JTJesterSpeaks.
Yeah,
he does it all.
But yeah, that's all you need is one more thing, right, JT?
Exactly.
One more thing to put on your plate.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want me to come in painting your house.
Hey, this guy is a delight. Before we get into catch-up mode on No Bad News, How to Find Joy in Any Circumstance, which is a book that he has out. If you check his website, just at JTJester.com, got some really cool stuff there. There's the foundation. There's what's coming up. He's been on so many journeys. Let's talk about the journey first. What do you have coming up? I saw a little thing said paddleboard. Do you have you already done this, or are you doing it?
So I have already done this. We did this last year for the first time, and this was a test. But here in the Detroit area, we have two bridges, and one of them is up in the St. Clair River, and that bridge is called the Blue Water Bridge, connecting Port Huron, Michigan to Canada and Windsor. And then from down here we have the Ambassador Bridge. And so we decided to create an event that would cover both of these bridges, and we'd paddle board from one bridge to the other. And so it takes we did it last year to test it out, and it took us just over about 12 hours.
Wow.
61 miles of paddleboarding. Wow. And we're excited because this year we're actually going to do it for the foundation, and our goal is to help support the JT Masta Foundation, and what the JT Masta Foundation is a foundation that I put together since writing my book No Bad Days: How to Find Joy in Any Circumstance. And the foundation covers children with similar medical challenges as myself, and it allows them to acquire medical supplies. And for myself, all my medical supplies are actually not covered by insurance because they're seen to be used for different applications, for feeding tubes and things like that. And my purpose is different. Mine's for the irrigation of cleaning out my lower GI and intestines. And so with that, I saw a need, and have been able to partner with my doctors to bring this to life, and to donate back to these families and children, to be able to help them acquire some supplies. But also it covers the education path, because as you guys know, in my book No Bad Days, I talk a lot about my challenges and others' challenges with dyslexia and learning differences. And so I've been able to help support in both of those areas, as well as the faith side of things too, with Young Life program.
Very cool. Now, as you did this paddleboarding, were you able to stay up the whole time? Do you fall in a lot? I mean, I've never paddleboarded, so I don't know.
So we're using race paddle boards, and so they're very narrow, and luckily for us, it was nice calm seas that day. But I've been out there many days training, and during that time out there, I've taken a lot of getting used to the board. But the board sort of becomes part of your whole system and your paddle, and with that, We are standing the whole time, the 61 miles, but during that, definitely taking breaks and honestly, jumping in the water is probably one of the best parts to sort of relax.
It seems like it would be pretty cold water up there. It wouldn't be like, you know.
Well, luckily we're doing it towards the end of summer, so it's the warmest it's gonna get.
Well, I'm glad you said you take breaks, because in my mind, I'm going, okay, do they stop and get something to eat? Is he eating while he's paddling? I mean, 61 miles of paddling, whether you stop or not, is quite a feat, I think.
And about 12 hours of it too. So
you're
stopping for a few breaks along the way to fuel up with water and food, and you're staying on your board the whole time, but you're fueling up and sitting down, jumping in the water, that kind of thing to get a little rest.
Now that was
the way my mind thinks. I think put a little motor on the back of it, you'll get done a lot quicker. It'll be a lot easier, but that defeats the purpose, I guess.
I think that's a good little trick. We might have to do that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the paddle is one thing, but also with the foundation, we're doing this event called Rim to Rim to Rim. And so it's in the Grand Canyon here, and you go from one side of the Grand Canyon down through the valley, up the other side. You do about 7,000 feet of descend and 7,000 feet of ascend.
Wow.
And then you spend the night on one side of the mountain, or the Grand Canyon. And then the next morning you wake up and reverse it and go back. And so it's about 22 miles one way and 22 miles back.
Wow. So, and this is all for the foundation, right? This is. Yeah. And love what you do. Okay. So how, I mean, you don't just wake up one morning and go, hey, I think I'll do 22 miles up, 22 miles, down. How long have you been working on training for this thing?
Yeah. So I've been, I've loved endurance sports ever since, some other sports were sort of taken away from me and because of medical challenges and things such as contact sports. I really just found a passion for the outdoors. And so I've loved any kind of new sport to try. And then also just being able to push myself. And so, in last August, I completed this, event called 29029, and that is the elevation of Mount Everest. And so what you do is you climb up this mountain. Here in the States, we did it in they do it in different ski resorts, but I did it in Snow Basin Ski Resort in Utah. And so you hike up 13 times and you just keep going. And so you go up and you take the chairlift down, and 13 times and 36 hours, you complete the elevation gain of Mount Everest. And so that was one of the most recent endurance sports that I did. But then with that, I've continued my training, because knowing that I had this paddle, and as well as planning this rim to rim. And so, my training regimen is just lots of time on my feet, getting up and going and running and also paddling and really trying to do the sports that are going to be what I'm going to be doing in the event. But biking has been a huge part of it too, is getting physically fit with the bike and running and things like that.
Love that. JT Jester, JTJester.com. No bad news, how to find joy in any circumstance. Great book. There's a line there that says there's no such thing as bad days, just hard days. And, you're so inspiring, JT. I think we may have brought this up before. You're so inspiring, and you have been for so long with so many challenges that you've had. Who inspires you? Who keeps you going?
So Rick, here's the book cover here.
There
so No Bad Days. And so with this book, a lot of the people in this book inspire me. Honestly, I've been blessed to have some amazing people in my life that have taught me so much and motivated me beyond belief. And so one person I'm going to point out in particular is a dear friend of mine, and he was a ski coach of mine, and he taught me very early on in my skiing career and in my racing career. And he showed me, a lot of great lessons, but one of the greatest lessons he taught, and it's talked about in the book, No Bad Days, is this time where Lottie met me for the first time, and we're heading up the chairlift. And Lottie's from the Czech Republic, comes to the States, and continues with his passion of skiing. And so we're going up the chairlift, and he says, "JT, today we're going to learn to fall." And me being a skier already, I was like, this is counterintuitive. I don't want to learn how to fall. I want to learn how to ski better. Well, I quickly learned that learning to fall was helping me ski, and got up to the edge of the mountain and started to make our run down. And Lottie said, "JT, follow after me, fall to the left, fall to the right, fall centered." And as we're doing this throughout the day, I start to realize that I'm able to recover the fall quicker. I'm able to fall gentler, like, different things to help out. But in racing, that was important, to be able to figure out how to get yourself out of a crash, or how to prevent injury and things like that, if you can, or how to prevent a crash in general. But in life, this was a life lesson that Lottie taught me, is like, basically, JT, not just in skiing you're going to fall, but in life you're going to fall, and you got to know how to get back up, and you got to have the people such as himself, and like you're saying, who motivates me. He's a motivation beyond belief. This guy does 100-mile races running and biking, and he, does he's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with me. He's done a majority of the 14ers in the state of Colorado with me, 14,000-foot mountains. And he's truly just an inspiration of putting your best foot forward.
Wow. JT Jester, what an inspiration. Check out his book. It will inspire you, JTJester.com. And maybe you can go in the paddleboard thing with him, sign up and find out more to raise money for the foundation. It's a great foundation. I think we got Dan in. I think he's hooked. JT, I think Dan,
I have that motor. I'm ready to go, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
JT, what a blessing you are. We'd love to talk to you in the fall, catch up with you. We do have to take a break. Check out the book. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk.